everybody, welcome to Cooking with Grandmommy. It's time to continue on with the Thanksgiving feast. Remember, we've been featuring things that you can make ahead, put them in the freezer, or, if you like doing all your cooking at the same time, showing you how to get things prepared ahead so you can make it a little more quick and easy on Thanksgiving Day. So last week we did the turkey. You could do that anytime, slice it, cover it up well, put it in the freezer. We have been working on our pies, pecan and pumpkin, on our pumpkin roll. All these things so far are dishes that you can make and put in the freezer ahead of time. One of the dishes we like for Thanksgiving too, that's on one of the earlier videos, is corn casserole. So we're just rolling together here, getting all your Thanksgiving needs ready. So today is no exception. This is the day we're going to be working on your dressing. Remember, we don't stuff the turkey because of the way we cook it. We just make the dressing separately. So that's what we'll be working on today in Grandmommy's kitchen, because remember, at Grandmommy's house, food is all about love and everybody is welcome. So let's get started. So time to make dressing to go with your Thanksgiving meal. As I said, we don't stuff it in the turkey. The way that I demonstrated cooking a turkey, you would not want to have stuffing in there. It would not work out well and your turkey wouldn't cook properly. So we just make the dressing on the side. This dressing recipe is really on the back of the dried breadcrumbs. I like using the one that has sage and onion because I like the sage flavor, but there's all kinds of flavors. You can look in the store and find one with the flavors that you like. But the basic recipe for most dressing is going to be the same. So just to give you a little heads up, this recipe calls for 1 cup of onion and 1 cup of celery if you're going to use the whole bag. This whole bag will make a 9 by 12 size pan. So for 1 cup of onion, you only need 1 onion. In fact, this one would be more than a cup. This is a good way to test your things out sometime. If you're reading a recipe and you're like, how many is that? How many should I buy? So 1 onion will do it. It could be smaller than this one. So 1 cup of onion and 1 cup of celery. And if your celery is really long, probably 2 sticks, no more than 3, would make a cup of celery. So just to give you an idea of how much produce to buy. Also, sometimes now you can buy onions and celery already chopped up in the produce counter. They're ready to go. So 1 cup of celery, 1 cup of onion. I have been sauteing the onions and the celery in 4 tablespoons of, guess what, my favorite, butter. So I've just been sauteing them for a few minutes so I can add that into the dressing bowl. So I'm going to use this large bowl and pour in all the breadcrumbs. 1 cup of celery, 1 cup of onions sauteed in 4 tablespoons of butter. My oven is preheating to 350. Now you'll notice on the back that you can even cook this on the stovetop. If you don't want to bake it, it goes a little faster on the stovetop and you can serve it that way. Just like if you've ever used stovetop stuffing from the boxes in the stores, those are just made on the stovetop. So I'm stirring in my onions and my celery with the butter. And then the recipe calls for 2 cups of broth. If you made the turkey the way that I showed you, you've got plenty of broth. So 2 cups of that. I actually had some broth. I got some out of the freezer. If you're using it out of the freezer, it's gonna, when you thaw it out, it's real gelatin-like. And really, in that state, you only need 1 cup of broth and add 1 cup of water, and you can see it's still good yellow chicken or turkey broth. So 2 cups of broth go in to the breadcrumbs and the celery and the onions. Stir it all up until the breadcrumbs get coated with the liquid. I love the smell of the sage and onion. I hope that you're getting plenty of people to join in for your Thanksgiving feast so that you will have lots of different foods and lots of conversations and just a good time together. I was thinking about the first Thanksgiving I knew it was in 1600, right? But when I did the math, that's almost 400 years ago. The very first Thanksgiving was in 1621, 398 years ago. Incredible. But the first Thanksgiving, they were celebrating. You know, they had gotten on the boat and the Mayflower and come all the way over here from England, and it was a pretty rough first year for them. They landed in 1620. And in 1621, the year of the first Thanksgiving, they were thankful for the harvest that had come in. They were giving God thanks because their harvest had come in. And remember, the first one included Native Americans. In fact, there were more of those than there were pilgrims. There were 90 Native Americans and 53 pilgrims at the first Thanksgiving. And so they were just giving thanks. And I like remembering that and thinking about that, because on Thanksgiving, we should be remembering. We should be thanking God for all of His blessings. In fact, one of the things we like to do is we go around the table before we eat, yes, while we're sitting there looking at all that food, and each person, from youngest to oldest, gives one blessing, one thing that they're thankful for that has happened during the year. And it's really sweet. It's nice. We like to do it. And their feast, that first feast, lasted 3 days. It really should, right? With all this good food, why just sit down and eat it once and then you're done? Let's hang out, let's watch a little football, wear our fat pants, come back and have some more. That's the way it should be, but theirs lasted for 3 days. All right, now at this point, the breadcrumbs, the celery, the onions, the butter, and the broth, this could be your dressing. This is the basic recipe. But what I started doing years ago, and my family just loves it, I got this recipe from someone, can't remember who right now, is we add 1 pound of ground beef, and I've already browned it, pouring it all in, and in addition to the ground beef, I add mushrooms. Now you could saute your own. I found these on sale and it just makes it easy, so I'm pouring in all the juice and all the mushrooms. Stirring it all together. Smelling better and better. Breadcrumbs are soaking up the broth and the butter. All right, now I like baking mine, so I'm going to pour it into this 9 by 13. I'm using this foil pan because I'm going to freeze mine, so I'll have it for Thanksgiving. I'm going to pour all this in. Let me get my spatula. I don't want to leave any of those juices or little tidbits of onions and celery in there. All right. Then just kind of even it out in the pan. I'm going to bake it at 350 for about 30-35 minutes. And this will make it a soft dressing. If you want it a little crispy on top, then you can uncover it. All right, it's been in the oven for 35 minutes at 350. Let's take a look. Let's get a little bit out of here. See how we did this time. So, look at this. So yummy. You can see the ground beef, the mushrooms, onions, celery, and the breadcrumbs. Yummy. Let's take up a little bit here. Are you tasting the turkey and dressing? It's that time. There we go. Beautiful. Time for turkey and dressing. Time for friends and family. Time for giving thanks. I hope you're making your plans, getting people together, and preparing to have some good food and fellowship together. Because at Grandmommy's house, food is all about love. Everybody's welcome. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.